car show to go to in 24 hours and my car is not ready.
The seats are still not in it and the car is not even roadworthy. And there's another huge problem that we'll get to in a bit.
In the last video, I tried to put in these bucket seats, but I was too tall and my head was touching the roof.
When I first got these seats, I tried to mount them on the stock seat rails, which obviously didn't work. Then I bought these NRG seat brackets that are more like a frame that your seat bolts on top of. They did fit, but even at the lowest possible setting, I was still sitting way too high and it was definitely not possible to wear a helmet. But I've bought these destroy or die seat brackets, which should let me mount the seat lower.
So let's find out if that's gonna work.
And to start with, I need to take off the NRG seat brackets. As you can see, these have a separate bracket which mounts to the seat and a separate frame piece which bolts into the car. Whereas these destroy or die brackets come as one piece. So in theory, it should allow me to sit lower.
You can tell this is lower. Look at this point here, it comes out. It's underneath this, so it's definitely lower. It's just a question whether it's low enough for me to fit in it.
And I guess there's only one way to find out if I can. And at this point, I'm not letting anything get in the way of me putting in these seats. I'm even taking the roof off for the extra space. Firstly, I'm getting the seats in the car and making sure I'm comfortable because these seats are not adjustable. But I've already hit my first roadblock. No matter what I try, I just can't seem to get these rear bolts to line up at all. So I have to get creative.
I found a position that I'm comfortable in and I can get the front bolts in super easy, but the back bolts I cannot get to for the life of me. Like, it's impossible. I adjusted the Allen key so that I can get down here and release the bolts that attach the seat to the bracket, so I can lift up the seat and get to the part where the bracket goes into the car.
And even after all of that, I still can't get these bolts to line up.
It doesn't look like we're going to be going to any car show, but I have figured out how to put in the seats properly. I've messed around so much with getting these seats in that the passenger side is not going in today. I've messed it up so bad and the bolts are not going into the hole, so I'll explain more about that in a second because I think I've figured out how to actually get the driver's side in. So firstly, this bracket is fully mounted to the car, it's tightened down and it's in securely. But the other bracket for the other side is onto the seat, but only bolted at the front. So the back is not bolted on.
And that's because I'm still going to have to lift the back of the seat up to get the rear bracket bolt in. And now with the seat in, I can bolt down the front of the other bracket, get the front bolt for the side of the seat in. And finally, because the brackets have more space, the back of the seat comes up easily and the rear bracket actually lines up. So with that tight, I can get the rest of the side bolts in and using my specially adapted Allen key, tighten them all down.
After all of that, the seat is finally in and it's in securely. It only took 2 days for one seat. So what happened with this side was I was trying to figure out how to mount the seat properly. So it involved a lot of times taking the seat in and out the car and on and off the bracket. So I was using the impact gun. And when I used the impact gun, this happened to the bolt. I'm gonna have to get a tap and die set to sort out the threads of the bolts and the threads into the car. But when I have that, I'll be able to put the seat in properly and I won't be using the impact for that again. When I do get the tap and die set, I will be sorting that all out on my second channel. So go in the link in the description and follow that if you haven't already. And you'll see more of me every week.
And talking about not missing out, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we have a lot of cool stuff on the way. But now for the moment of truth.
But the question is, did it solve my issues?
Okay. You have headroom.
I have headroom. I actually fit inside. My head's not touching the roof this time. But look at this. My legs are like touching the steering wheel completely. I guess I could solve this by buying a smaller steering wheel. But the car is intended for drifting. So for drifting, I'm gonna need a helmet on. And the real question is, can a helmet fit on with the roof on so I can drift the car on track? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Last time I couldn't even have my head straight in the car. My vision is not great, I'm not gonna lie. The vision is not 10 out of 10, but I can drift with a roof on and a helmet on, which is like what I wanted. Oh my gosh. Them seats only took me 2 days, a broken finger and a cut knee to get in. Them seats are never coming out. I don't care. I'm never taking these seats out of this car.
And even though that feels like a win, that's only one of the major issues sorted. Next up is the suspension. When I installed the body kit, I needed the car to sit at the right ride height to make sure it looked good, but that created an issue.
I just want you to look under your sill.
Why?
You know that crusty spot that we painted over?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, look under the sill.
Fuck, I can feel I'm inside my car. My hands are inside the car. That is definitely a rust repair I'm not doing. Wow. Thank God this is not a rust repair car.
No, not that one. This one. Most cheap coilovers only have the spring preload adjustment rings, which are not designed to adjust the ride height. To do this, good coilovers would have a threaded body, allowing you to extend or shorten the shock body and use the locking ring to secure it in place. And as you can see, the coilovers the previous owner installed only have the spring preload adjustment. So now that my body kit is all installed and looking good, I'm unfortunately going to have to raise the car up because having the coil springs just dangling around like that is just not safe. The front didn't get lowered as much, but regardless, the spring still has some slack, so it needs to be raised up to make sure the springs are sitting nice and tight.
But before I see how bad the ride height looks, I'm gonna change the oil in it. I don't remember the last time I'd done it, and I usually work on my driveway over there, but the E30's taken up that space, and this driveway, well, if I make any mess on it, my dad will literally kill me. So I'm gonna put this under the car in case I spill any oil. My dad already might kill me. There's a lot of oil and fluid under this car.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess we'll deal with that problem when we get to it. And if you're watching, Dad, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get this car serviced.
I actually had more oil than I expected.
As the oil finishes draining, I can change the oil filter, which is in a really awkward spot right under the intake. And that makes getting to it quite tricky. But after a bit of fiddling, I got it done. Now I can change the air filter.
That's actually not that bad. I've seen worse air filters, but then again, I haven't driven this car in so long, so.
And to be honest, changing the air filter and the spark plugs is just a precaution because of how long this car has been sitting. With everything now buttoned up, I can finally lower the car and see how the ride height looks.
It looks like a monster truck right now. Before I judge it, I'm gonna drop the other side and let it sit for a bit. I don't want to raise the fucking car up. Oh, hell no. Oh my gosh. I've got a monster truck Miata right now. What the hell? I feel like such a bitch. Why do I have to raise it up? You know, I need to buy nice coilovers so I can freaking slam it to the ground again. I'm just gonna leave it overnight and hope that it drops lower and it settles down because right now, I'm not too happy with the fitment. I don't even know how this is possible, but it actually looks like the front has got even higher overnight. I really don't like the fitment right now. So, BC Racing Coilovers, please sponsor me because I want to slam my car to the ground again safely.
But to be honest, the sadness of the ugly ride height went away pretty quickly because I realized after 2 years of working on this car, I was about to finally drive it. All I need now is mirrors and the car is done. I still can't believe that a silly idea with my friends to buy a project car has turned into this. This MX-5 is the reason I even got into cars in the first place.
Okay, this better work.
And for the last 2 years, I've just been working on it any moment I've got.
Okay, oh my gosh. Yes, it's in. I have a mirror, I have a driver's side mirror.
And finally, after all the heartache, all the challenges, all the mess ups, the car is finished and I can actually enjoy it.
I don't know if going in the middle was the best option. It doesn't feel as secure because obviously it's not the correct fitment, but there is a mirror in.
But the best part of all of this is that this is just the beginning and I can't wait to see where we're headed next. For now, let's take her for a spin. Smiling that this car is actually being driven right now. I'm driving the MX-5 on the road, which is just like an insane feeling. I can't describe how happy I am to be driving this thing. There is a huge problem, and that is my brakes are fucked. Like when I press them,
it's not stopping the car. Like, I have to brake so early to get the car to fully stop, and the brake pedal feels so stiff. So I need to change the brakes, but it could be a good reason to upgrade the brakes since I'm going to change them anyway. Even though the brakes are bad, the rest of the driving's spot on. Like, I have not driven this car in fuck knows how long time. I've not driven this car, and it's being sweet as hell. Like, the handling's good. Raising it's a lot better over speed bumps. I have scraped though still, so I have to take speed bumps slow. But oh my gosh, it's like a dream right now. What a spectacular drive. I really miss the MX-5, man. I miss it so much. I'm so happy I can take it out now. Let's wash it, get it looking sexy, and yeah, go for another drive. I can't believe how far I've come with this build, and just everything to the point where now I'm actually driving it. It's crazy. There's still so many things I want to do to this car. I mean, no car build's ever like actually finished realistically, but I want to say thank you to everyone who's supported me. This is the first project car I've ever owned, and it went through a lot of stages, a lot of things I've done wrong to this car, but things I can take with me to my next car build and learn to do better and more properly, because it's all a learning curve. So that was just a scrape. And the next stage of this car is to get it ready for drifting, because this is a drift build. It would be wrong to call it any other build because of how imperfect the build is, but that drifting journey is all to come, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And again, thank you everyone for supporting me. If you see me at a car meet, let me know, I'll let you sit in the car. That's my thank you. Is that cool? Do you want to sit in a tiny MX-5? Not really. That sounds like torture, right?
Yeah, it kind of does.
It sounds, I shouldn't park here because my handbrake don't work. Let me go find a new space. See you in the next video. Officially. Oh my gosh, there's someone watching us.
You alright? Good win.
Hi. Yes? I know. Oh, nice. Hi. How are you? Good. I'm confused. That was the creepiest interaction ever. I just felt someone staring. I turned around and the guy was just like this. He wasn't leaving. Even when I spoke to him, he just stayed there. Thank you. Someone complimented my car.